ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another video here on Ty Drives. My name is Ty behind the camera, and this, of course, is the much anticipated 2022 Volkswagen Golf GTI in the SE trim level. Now, as I said just before, super anticipated car for me at least, and I'm very glad to have this one right in front of us to film today. Now, throughout this video, we're going to take a walk around the exterior, see what kind of features we're working with, and we'll pop the hood, see what's going on under there, because there is a pretty significant power bump for the new generation of GTI. Then we'll work our way to the interior, starting with the cargo space, the rear seats, and then working our way up front to the front cockpit. But you're going to want to make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video, because I'm going to strap this GoPro on my head and we're going to get a first-person point of view road test. So make sure you stay with us throughout the video. And make sure to hit that subscribe button too if you like the video. Now, before we get into it, I'd like to extend a huge thanks to Valenti Volkswagen for allowing me to film this vehicle. Now, all GTIs will come standard with full LED headlights, so LED high beams, low beams, turn signals, and daytime running lights. And the daytime running lights are pretty unique in this vehicle and much of the higher end Volkswagen lineup. And the fact that the LEDs continue through the grille and through the Volkswagen emblem, as you can see, which is really neat when you have the headlights on. Taking a look down below, we have a pretty cool set of fog lights. We have this sort of hexagonal shape to them, really neat. And also parking sensors up front, so that's pretty awesome. Pretty large air intakes down at the bottom too. We have the typical red stripe for the front grille and the GTI emblem. So pretty attractive front end. Definitely gives it some width with the large grille down there. Now, pretty small sloping hood here, and we're working with the blackout package today that comes with the SE as an option. So that means we get 18-inch black painted alloys, which look very nice. Pretty large brake rotors too, as you can see. And the front tires are measured at 225/40. We have the GTI emblem on the fender. Also have some pretty nice mirrors, and working up top we have the oversized sunroof and shark fin antenna. Going back to the mirrors, we of course have blind spot indicators on the inside over here, and the turn signals there. Smart key entry on both the front door handles. You just tap the pad here to lock, put your hand behind the handle to unlock, and they also have LED illumination on the inside of the door handles, which is pretty cool. Got the little Volkswagen spelled out on the B pillars. Beautiful Atlantic blue paint color on this car too, which is a very GTI color if you ask me. Pretty much same wheel and tire setup back here. We have a nice subtle spoiler back here with your third wiper. Full LEDs back here, so your brake lights, tail lights, and turn signals and everything are all LED. We have the typical dual exhaust outlets for the GTI as well down below, and parking sensors. We also have a hidden parking camera, which actually pops out like the last generation of Golf, kind of flips the emblem up and the camera comes out. And we also have the GTI emblem right below. So what do you guys think of the styling on this new GTI? Now, I chose to do this particular one because I see lots and lots of videos out on YouTube on that yellow Autobahn trim, but this one's a little bit different, so I figured I'd show you this one. Let me know what you think in the comments on this vehicle. So, with an all-new generation of GTI comes with a new motor, some updated power figures, and they are at 241 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. So a little bit of a power boost there on the horsepower and torque side. Now, you can, of course, option for the 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which is what we have here, or you can get a 6-speed manual. I would have loved to test out the manual for you guys, but my dealership does not yet have one, unfortunately. But they are coming, and of course, that is hooked up to the front-wheel drive. Pretty easy access engine bay here, nothing crazy going on at all, so it looks relatively easy to service. You have still have an oil engine oil dipstick, and your filter is right there. So very nice, easy setup here to service the vehicle. And it is held up with a prop still, so you put it up right there. There's double hood latches up top, and the release for the hood is right in the center. Okay, so to open the deck lid, we gotta kind of do this number here, just on the top of the symbol, and then pull up. Once you have it open, that is the benefit of the GTI over GLI. You get a little bit more cargo space as far as tallness goes. So pretty wide opening as well. You also have this cargo cover that hangs from the top that you can remove. You have the seat that split 60/40, and there's also a little pass-through in there, as you can see. But a pretty good amount of space back here. So you have various things, accessories that come with this vehicle, such as the roadside assistance kit, first aid kit, all-weather floor mats, and the all-weather trunk liner that's installed. And once you lift that up, there's a little handle, and you can see the subwoofer for the audio system and the spare tire. So it's good to see that they give you that. And you also have tie downs towards the back for various cargo applications, and a 12-volt power outlet. To close, you have handles on either side, one under here and one under here. Very easy to close down, and it kind of just actually is pretty assisted, so it goes down pretty easy. At this point, I'd like to show off the window sticker for a few things. Very good fuel economy, which is no surprise because the GTI has always been a very fun and efficient car, which makes this one of the best cars out there on sale. You can see the parts content, which it's still made in Germany, which is pretty awesome. And then a couple of various optional equipment. So we have the black package with the blacked out wheels and the auto dimming mirror and things like that. So in the rear cabin, we have pretty much the same materials as last generation. So we have hard touch back here on the top and on the bottom, but you do have a nice soft cloth where your arm's going to rest. But you also get ambient lighting even in the back, so that's pretty cool. This car also has the 9-speaker Harman Kardon audio system, which is also very welcomed. And you also have carpeting in the storage wells there. Very nice plaid seats on the SE. Leather is also an option, so that's pretty cool that they give you the plaid in a more of a loaded up trim level than just the S as of the last generation. You also have some suede in there too, and these are the little handles here to fold down the rear seats. Now, hopping in, the GTI has never been really roomy in the back seat, but it does just fine. So I'm 5'10", sitting behind myself. I have a good inch of legroom, so it's definitely doable back here. You have these little pockets back here to put your cell phones, which is pretty cool, and a couple of air vents back here. Now, if this was the Autobahn, you'd get a climate control and heated rear seat, so keep that in mind. And a couple of USB-C chargers. Might be a little tight fitting a third passenger back here, but there is room for it. You can also fold down the rear armrest. You have a couple of cup holders and a little handle to fold down the pass-through. You have grab handles back here and sort of touch-sensitive LED lights. And those will work when the car's power is on. Very nice interior for this vehicle. And when I saw pictures of this when they first came out, I was kind of you know, about the design. But now that you see it in person, it's a totally different ball game, and I do really like this car so far. All right, now we get to check out the front cabin. A little bit different materials on the doors here, so we get soft to the touch in case you like to rest your elbow up here. We also get this sort of neat hexagonal trim for the front doors. We have the lock unlock buttons, your heated mirror controls, and all your window adjustments. Large storage pocket and another speaker on the door. I have a different headlight switch for this vehicle, so you just kind of tap this button right here to control your headlights and fog lights, and also your defrosters, uniquely enough. We have an air vent over here, and you can also see the tilt telescoping lever. Very nice pedals, so the kind of sport aluminum pedals, and your hood release over there. Very nice, very bolstered, and also very comfortable seats. So they've kind of found a medium to where it's very comfortable, but it's also going to please you on the during your spirited driving sessions with this vehicle. Now, partially powered, so the only part that's powered is the backrest, but once you upgrade to the leather seats, it'll be full powered. You have the height adjustments over here and the lumbar control right here on the side. Then we also have the back and forth lever right there. So, all new GTI also means all new key fob. Take a look at that. Very, very premium looking key for this car. So on the back you have the Volkswagen emblem. Then on the other side you have all of your buttons, so lock, unlock, trunk release, and the panic alarm. And then you also have a physical key somewhere inside. I believe it slides out maybe from the bottom here. There's the button right there, and then the key will slide out, yeah, from the bottom. Good place to put your key right there, and the start stop button is right in front of the gear selector. Alright, so take a look at this all new steering wheel. Very comfortable in your hands. You have this kind of deviated leather right where you're going to grip the wheel, so that's pretty awesome. And then sort of a smooth leather up top and down bottom. You also have stitching on the inside, and just great grips even for down here as well. So sort of all of your cruise control settings, adaptive cruise control settings on this side with your audio volume. You could swipe up and down, and all these buttons are sort of like a capacitive touch button, so you could swipe the audio volume like that, and you kind of get a feedback, a little tiny vibration in your finger to let you know that it's actually working. So, and on the other side we have voice commands, all of your controls for the screen up top, heated steering wheel, which also has 3 settings, so 3 different heating levels. Then we also have a skipping for the different tracks, and then the very nice little GTI emblem at the bottom. So taking a look up top is our screen. But before we get to that, I want to point out these stalks behind. So we have a couple over here for the turn signals, the high beams, and you can also bring up all of your driver's assistance, turn off the lane assist and whatnot quickly. Then we also have the front and rear wipers. So now we can get to the all new screen up here, and I really, really do like this. There's so many different views that you can get through the screen. It's so customizable. It's just a really great setup for this car. Again, we're going to be using all of these buttons over here to configure that screen. So at any time you could press the view button, and it'll completely change up the screen to a few different views that you could get. We have the full navigation, which is awesome. Sort of a driver's assistance screen, just a big speedometer if you don't want the tachometer, and then kind of back to this screen, which is my favorite. And then you can also kind of use these page back and forth buttons to display what's on the other side. So that's pretty cool. You can go back and forth to see what your assist systems are doing. And you can also change what you see in the center, your current speed, a lap timer, things like that. And then you could also go to the other side and change what that's doing. So that's pretty awesome to see that it's so customizable. So very, very nice system there. We have a little tweeter speaker with the Harman Kardon branding, nice soft to the touch dash up here. And that brings me down to the main infotainment screen, which is also all new. Now again, this is one of the things that you see in the pictures of the cars and you're like, it doesn't look so good, but once you actually get in the car, it really sets in. It's a very, very nice new system for Volkswagen. So we'll kind of go quickly through a few different menus. You have a home button right over here, and it's also sort of a gesture control screen to some point, so you can just kind of swipe your hands across and then you can get to different menus. So that's pretty cool, kind of gimmicky, but it's a pretty cool thing to show off to your friends. We can start off with the telephone screen here. It's not going to display a whole lot because I don't have my phone connected, but we do have the radio screen here to show you all the radio stations. And swipe down, very modern, clean looking new infotainment screen, so that's pretty cool. We have the media over here, different alerts for different songs and your different favorites, so the presets and things like that. We have the navigation over here, the vehicle screen. So once we go here, we can configure different things like so, and then we can get into the interior with our interior lighting, and that's our gauge dimmer over there. And there's just various different settings that you can go through. Vehicle status over here as well, and the driving data. So this is kind of our different trip settings. So that's pretty cool. We have the App Connect that has to do with the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have all of your different sound settings, so it gives you different presets, or you can set your focus and then also kind of play with the equalizers a little bit. We have an ambient lighting tab, which it gives you a few different colors themes to go through, and the ambient lighting is actually very cool in this car at night. And then we also have it set up right now to go along with the driving mode. We could swipe over to a sort of screen that I would probably use it in. It's got a good combination of the nav screen, kind of what's going on with your media and some various other things. Then we also have a couple of different settings you can go through, and then you can also swipe from the top, turn the auto start stop on and off, and various things like that. Most of the climate control is routed throughout the screen. At least I would use it through the screen, but they do give you some sort of shortcuts for the climate. You can kind of swipe back and forth just below the screen for your temperature. You also have a slider right here for the audio, and you know, usually I'd complain about that, but it seems to be working just fine. Watch, you know, just as I'm displaying it, it's not going to work, but that's just because the audio is turned off, but you get the point. Right up here is your audio control, or the audio controls, the climate controls. And the fan speed right over here, temperatures in the middle, heated seats as well, and all of the different zones and different AC settings and things like that. We have a couple of air vents to either side and a couple of touch capacitive buttons, so this will quickly bring up your driver's assistance screen. You can just kind of tap on various things to turn things on and off. The front assist, the side assist, the lanes, various other things. I really like the graphics on this screen too. We have the parking menu, so you could turn that, you could bring that up. The parking sensors will activate, and the rear camera will also come on. And then you have sort of a wide angle view too if you're backing out of a space. We have a quick button here to select your drive modes, so I'll show you really quick that the kind of colors get a little bit different with the driving modes if you'd like, and you also have a quick access climate screen with the hazards in the center. You can't forget that. Down below we have a couple of USB-C chargers and also a wireless charging pad for your phone. And down here we have the engine start stop button, and also pretty neat gear selector. So we have the park button right up here, and the rest is kind of routed throughout this little knob here. If we go straight down, that is for drive, and you kind of press it down again, that'll get you put the transmission into a sport mode, so it'll kind of hold the gears. Kind of do a half a click up into neutral, and then another click into reverse, and as you saw earlier, the backup camera. We also have the electronic parking brake, so press down to deactivate, pick up to activate. Little storage tray over here. And we also have a couple of cup holders over here, and you kind of make a storage area or press this button and make another cup holder. So that's pretty neat there that you could do that. And a 12-volt power outlet. A nice padded storage console which you could lift up, and there is a little bit of room in there. Taking a look over here, the passenger has a nice view of the trim and some pretty cool air vents to look at. Once you open up the glove boxes, a really good amount of space in there, so you can see plenty of room for the owner's literature and whatnot. Up here we have the auto day and night mode, and then we also have the garage door home links, a compass, and a frameless mirror. So that's one of the accessories that's on this car. And then we also have some lighting and sunroof controls up here, so sort of touch sensitive lights. So that's all on, and then you can just tap the individual lights. Some more maintenance and emergency controls up there. And then we also have the sunroof controls. So a little bit of an oversized sunroof for this vehicle. You can also put the shade back. It blocks a pretty good amount of light. And then you also have this sort of swiper to put the sunroof back. So you just kind of do a little swipe motion on that little thing right up here, and it will close or open the sunroof. So pretty cool solution to the sunroof there. Just a couple more things I wanted to point out. You have the visors up here with a card clip and also a mirror and light. They also extend to cover sun that's coming in from the side, and you also have grab handles. But I can't wait for this. Let's get this out on the road. All right, driving the all-new GTI. I am super excited for this. And already just kind of driving it up and down the street a little bit here and there, it seems very familiar, which is a good thing, because honestly, I think the GTI is the best daily driver if you're a little bit budget conscious. It truly is the best daily driver in my opinion. Now, I actually owned a 2019 GLI for 2 years, so it'll be interesting to see how this performs next to that as well, with being so familiar with that car. So we're gonna start off our drive in eco mode, and I'm gonna do that for a reason, just to show you how the transmission reacts, and it's very interesting. But throughout this drive, it's gonna quickly take us to this little dead end here, where we'll test out the turning circle. As you can see, just about one turn to lock. Super good turning radius. Wow, that's impressive. So that's good. Pay attention to the way the transmission shifts. Always keeps the engine speed below 2,000 RPM, which is very interesting. And that's one thing about these 2-liter turbos in the GTIs, GLIs. They never, ever starve for power. So no matter what RPM you're at, you've always got enough power, and that turbo just pulls you right through. Amazing. I love these cars in eco mode just for driving around, because the RPMs just stay so low, but you still have so much power. I wish every car was like that. But getting it up to about 45, it's supremely quiet in here. You get a little bit of exhaust noise, which I like. You know, the GTIs, GLIs have always been a little bit quiet on the exhaust note, but this one seems to be a little bit louder than the previous generation, which is good. I like that. So yeah, very quiet in here. Just a little bit of noise from the mirrors, a little bit of noise from the tires, but that is all good. And we have the lane keeping assist active. And as you can see, if you bump off the lanes, it'll kind of light up a little bit and correct your steering, as you can see. But it's not a crazy like jerky system or anything like that. It just gently steers you into your lane. Yeah, we're gonna shut that off for now, and we're gonna switch over to the sport mode here. So that puts the transmission into sort of a sportier mode. As you can see, it's revving quite a bit, and we're going to take this car up the hill here and see what it's like. So we're going to start off at 25. We're going to floor it and see how the transmission reacts. Wow. Oh my God, I love these cars, I really do. It's just enough power to have fun with, and I really even shouldn't say that. I should say it's a little bit more power to have fun with. You could definitely tell a difference between the previous gen GTI and this. It does feel faster. And it put a smile on my face quite a bit. So that's pretty cool. One thing I'd like to talk about with this new GTI is it only comes on the Autobahn trim, but that's the adaptive chassis, so this car doesn't have it. But with the Autobahn, you can it comes standard, and it basically gives you another menu in the screen, and you kind of adjust how stiff or how sort of how soft the suspension and chassis feels. So that's very cool. Haven't yet got to try it out on the road, of course, yet, but I think that's just really amazing at the price point. And lots of things amaze me about this. It's like $37,000 this car, and you get a lot. Now this SE here with the leather package would be the perfect car for me. Seriously. That would just have everything that I would ever want in a car. It really, truly is the perfect daily driver for a car enthusiast, but maybe with a 6-speed. So I'm gonna switch this into manual mode. We're gonna test out the paddle shifters here, see how they react. Almost immediate, which is very good. 7-speed dual clutch is very smooth and very lightning fast. These cars just pull in the lower RPMs. And that's one thing I really, really love about these 2.0s. And it definitely feels different than the other 2.0s in like the Tiguan or even like the A4. You know, this just kind of gives you that hit of boost pressure once you're in. So let's put it in 6th gear, and there's the boost right there. It's starting to build. It's just so much fun. Now these seats are awesome too. Ride quality is pretty good too. I would have to say it's a little bit more comfy than the previous generation, and we'll take it through a couple of turns in just a bit here. But it's just a very solid feeling to the suspension as well. Gosh, I like this car. You know, there's just a few things I do have to complain about. It's like these buttons here that are touch capacitive, and they look very nice when they're clean, but there's going to be fingerprints all over them. It's not going to look very nice. You know, there's a couple things that I wish there was buttons for, like full climate control and things like that. But if you simply look at this car from the driver's car perspective, it is near perfect. I do apologize about the paper in the window there. I tried to peel it off, but it was just gonna rip. So that's there for now. I also do like this setup here for the screen. You know, it kind of shows you the map. So if you're doing some canyon carving or back roads driving, you could kind of see the turns that pop up, which is very nice. But then you also could see what's going on with your radio at the same time. Seats are supremely comfortable. Plenty of thigh support, quite a bit of side support for your upper back, and definitely your bottom. And just a really great performer. And it's amazing how they control that zero torque steer. Alright, so coming back into our little studio here, what are my wrap-up thoughts on the GTI? Well, it just simply continues to impress, and it truly is one of my favorite cars that I've ever driven. And that has to do with any car that I've driven. You know, this is in the top 5. Just a great all-rounder, and it's a great daily driver when you need it, almost the best, and it's a great performer when you need it. And to me, those two things, plus the practicality of the hatch, and there's a pretty good amount of space in here, really nice amount of features, and that kind of all just comes together to make just an impeccable car, seriously. Jeremy Clarkson owned one of these, and you know, that guy's probably loaded. He's got probably millionaire, but he drives one of these as a daily driver, and that just goes to show you how good these cars really are. And you know, I could go on and on all day about these cars, but at the end of the day, this is what it is. And I hope you have enjoyed this vehicle just as much as I have, and I hate to give it back, but we'll see you in the next video.